Welcome to another upper cervical chiropractic clinical case review with your host, Dr. Chris Brown, where I go in on an upper cervical case that I have managed and how the upper neck was able to help it out. This video is about a semi-truck driver who got in a truck accident and entire spine was in severe spasm. I saw him a week after this car accident. It was a PI case. Basically, he was a semi-truck driver that was he was driving and a car came on an on-ramp and basically ran him off into like the median area, which was grass. It didn't have like a barrier. But as the truck went into the grass, I mean, he's on the freeway going 65 miles an hour or so, and he had to skid off and truck started rattling around and he's gotten bossed around and his whole body was in severe spasm. His truck was scuffed up. His truck actually got pretty seriously damaged from that. And he could not move when he got in. I mean, he was it was almost as if a steel rod was placed in his back, like a scoliosis surgery, and just stuck there. And I mean, he was moving like this. He could barely sit. He could barely move his head. He could barely turn his head. Everything was seized up and spazzed up. And his scans were not good at all. And when I say scans, I understand that this might be your first video watching this. So what we do is, the way that we're able to really have a global effect on people and get results that we do is because we are addressing the nervous system and we're addressing function of the nervous system. And the very first step towards becoming a patient of ours or a client of ours is we run a functional nervous system test just to rule in or out whether or not the nervous system is compromised. And when we're able to confirm that the nervous system is compromised, typically that's due to one of three stressors that cause an upper bone to misalign. So that nervous system, when it is compromised, central nervous system, which governs everything in our body, is communicating our brain's healing codes to our body. So there's four principles to this. Number one is our body's able to heal itself. That healing code is not just exclusive to skin, like a cut scab, or muscle, like a strained hamstring. It's all inclusive to every single cell, tissue, muscle, organ in the body. And those healing codes come from our brain. Healing codes are generated in our brain, and they're communicated through nerves, which makes brain-body communication of the utmost importance. If anything is interfering with that transition site of brain to body, then it makes sense that chronic health issues will start accumulating over time if there is a kink in the hose, for example. So instead of it just being an open faucet, water rushing out of healing codes, it's just a drip. And when it drips out like that, our body is essentially suffocating of those healing codes. They're starving of them, and they need them. They need them constantly. They're constantly asking for those regenerative information, that regenerative electricity that can get all the materials to them that they need, that can give them the energy that they need and the blueprints that they need to be able to restore whatever it is they need to restore. And when we get a misalignment of that upper neck, it can take a long time to potentially manifest as symptoms. It can take a short time to manifest as symptoms. It depends on the amount of stress in your body. For this guy in particular, he got a pretty bad car wreck. I mean, he was asymptomatic prior to this. He didn't really note anything on his history that might have indicated there could have been something there present. But he got in this accident and his body was seized up and locked up. Full spine spasm. So how on earth was I expected to be able to address an entire spine by only adjusting the upper bone of the neck, which is what we did. First step was we ran a nervous system test, found out that his nervous system was in a compromised state, a malfunctioning state, meaning that his body was not able to effectively heal up. We know that is attributed, we know that the cause of that is because of an upper neck misalignment, which we've just learned from neuroanatomy, neurophysiology in school. So we know that that is due to an upper neck misalignment. I don't know what that is on that person until I shoot x-rays. And what makes our x-ray process unique is we do motion films that is able to address or that's able to reveal the incorrect movement of these bones, because what's causing the nervous system to malfunction is a biomechanical issue in the upper neck. And when we get in a car accident, that is one of the easiest examples that I can give someone of them recognizing like a physical stressor that might cause a misalignment of the upper neck. That might be the root event, the originating event that caused that upper neck to misalign. So in his case, he had a pretty serious truck accident. We did scans, found out that there was dysfunction of the nervous system, ended up shooting x-rays. His full spine scans were super bad too, because we're not just trying to clear just the neck, we're trying to address the top of the neck all the way down to the lower spine in as few adjustments as possible and as few regions as possible. In fact, we're able to address those issues. We know that the root of that is in the upper neck, because that's where the control panel is of the human body, the fuse box of the human body. That's also the only location where every single nerve in the body is located. So we're able to have a really big global impact on function of the human body through these two bones in the neck. When we took x-rays on him, nothing was moving. These two bones are supposed to be able to go from right to left, both ways. They're supposed to be able to rotate freely, which allows for all the movement in our head. And about 80% of rotation in our body is originated from our spine or from our neck. So if I am not able to really rotate my head because I'm locked up, then I'm not going to be able to really rotate my body. In addition, someone who has low back pain, you might notice that if you bend your head forward and your lower back starts to flare up, that means that the root of your lower back pain is in your neck, because you're moving your head, and the product or the compensation of that is pain in your lower back. That's how you know that this is actually the origin causing the tension and pain, compression on your lower spine. So we want to be able to, we're still addressing a global function, a global issue, but we know that we're going to have a really big impact by clearing these top two bones of the neck and being able to let the body do what it needs to do, which is heal up. Especially after a car accident, like that is a pretty serious ligament injury as well to the upper neck. And if there's any kind of car accident in a person's life, getting checked is paramount, because that's one of the easiest ways to cause a misalignment of the upper neck is a head injury, whether it's in football, whether it's hitting the coffee table as a kid, or falling off the bed as a kid, or getting in a car accident, snowboarding accident, wiping out somehow, wakeboarding, just getting your bell rung like that can 100% easily cause misalignment of the upper neck and can really mess this up. Biggest reason why is because there's no real like joints that are checking and balancing the movement of this bone. I mean, there are some anatomical limitations with the skull and also this, but really it's only held by ligaments, which is soft tissue, and so it's almost like skates on ice. It's able to just kind of float around. It's the only bone in the body that's like this, and it's really easy for this to become misaligned, become fixated and stuck in a certain position and not move. And when that occurs, that puts a ton of stress on the brainstem, resulting in a lot of malfunction of our nervous system as a whole. So our brainstem has like global effect of our entire body. It has our digestive center there, it has our sleep centers there, our cardiorespiratory centers there, our vasodilatory centers there, our immune system centers there, our hormone centers there. All of them are located in our brainstem. And if I was gonna do like a mock image for you guys, my fist is my brain and my thumb is my brainstem. If I just stuck it in like this, that's essentially how the anatomy works. And so these two bones are protecting my brainstem like so. So if there's any pressure of these two bones, then it's going to cause massive disruption and malfunction of our brainstem, and thus result in a bunch of global symptom issues throughout our body. So we want to be able to check that, verify how that's functioning, and if there is an issue, we want to be able to address that as soon as possible. So this individual, he was in full-blown spasm. Nothing was moving. His whole body was locked up all the way down to his lower back, and he was in a lot of pain. He could barely get out of his truck. He could barely go from sitting to standing, standing to sitting, get around the house. I mean, everything movement-wise was compromised because of his head and spine getting bashed around, and basically his upper neck was just in a stuck seized position, almost as if the fire alarm was just going off and he's in like fight or freeze mode, and his body and his nervous system were just stuck in that. And so we need to be able to get you out of that state. When we run scans, the scanner looks like a Walmart scanner. It runs at the back of your neck and it gives us a graph, and we take multiple reads because we're not only looking to see if there's malfunction of the nervous system, but we're looking to see if the nervous system is in a stuck state. If we are able to confirm that the nervous system is in a stuck state, then we know that these bones are not moving. That's where we're able to know if we're able to help this person or not, and then that's also allows us to be able to know when to adjust this person or not, because we create a baseline status of when this person is in their stuck state. I call it their check engine light. I want to make sure that this person's check engine light is off all the time. That's the main premise of care. Why they're coming in here, why these scans are so important, is we want to make sure that your check engine light is off. If your check engine light is on, that's a bad sign. It's kind of like having a cavity. If you're driving the car and your check engine light's on, you're not going to want to drive that car. You're going to go and get it checked as soon as possible, typically. So it makes sense that if your human check engine light's on, wouldn't you want to get that addressed? Makes sense to me. And to a lot of people too, once they hear this concept. So this guy, when he came in and got under care and he started up with us, we started getting him corrected, adjusted, and I probably had to adjust him initially about like once a week to once every 10 days, just because of how much stress was on his system and the impacts that he had essentially taken just a week prior. So it took him a little while for him to get stabilized, but once he did really well under care. I mean, by the time he got to his 6-week re-eval, his first re-exam, he had pretty minimal symptoms. I mean, he had a little bit of lower back issues, but a lot of it cleared up. His full spine scans looked great, which that's the main thing we're going for. And he was able to, move around carefree again. I mean, he didn't really have any more of the symptoms that he presented with, just because his body was no longer under that stress. The origin of all of our muscles and all of our movement comes from our upper neck. So once those start moving well, then everything else will start moving well and taking time. And it just allowed for his spine to heal from the top down and his spinal cord to heal from the top down. That's the whole premise of this, is that healing comes from our brain communicated and conveyed through nerves, which means that the healing process is from our brain all the way down our spinal cord, and then it'll start to branch out to the various nerve roots, and then those nerves to their end targets, and then it's going to start impacting organs and organ function, because that's what's dictating how our organs function is through nerves. So when we're able to create and restore proper neurologic function, we're restoring proper brain-body communication, proper autonomic function, proper healing communication, healing capability, and we're allowing that to flow the way that it's supposed to. And we're able to check and monitor that with our functional nervous system test, and we're able to reassess that essentially almost every visit, but also on a full spine level every re-exam. And we're able to have a really thorough process and just continuing to confirm and continuing to just be able to monitor whether or not this person's check engine light is on or off. And the longer we have it off, the less frequent we have to adjust someone, the better outcomes, because then we know that this person is consistently in a healing place. If we can be able to give one adjustment that lasts someone's entire life, that's great. That's actually kind of our gold standard. That's what we want. It's really hard to do that though, because us humans, especially in America, are really prone to just exposing ourselves to a bunch of stressors, whether they're physical, chemical, or emotional. We love doing it. We love just hammering our body with that stuff. But this was a cool case because he had full body spasm, full body lockup, and he had just gotten in a car accident 7 days prior. Typically, this kind of care is more catered towards chronic individuals, but that just kind of goes to show that someone who recently had an injury, we want to make sure that that healing capability is functioning optimally, and when it does, we're able to heal really quick, especially coming off of an injury that happened so recently at that time. So he was an awesome patient. He was super good dude. We were able to get to know each other really well during care. And he got back to being able to work and provide for his family, which was his main thing that he needed to do. And we're able to make that happen, which at the end of the day, we're not really here for pain. We're really here for what that symptom is preventing us from doing. So if someone's listening to this and they're like, man, I got neck issues or mid-back issues or full-blown spasms, or is any of the other stuff that any of these other videos that I'm putting out kind of hit home for you, well, you're having those symptoms for a reason, and they're not going away for a reason. And more than likely, they're not going away because your nervous system is in a compromised state, and you probably don't even know it. And most doctors are unaware of this style of care and are unaware of this test because it's rare, and it's rare for students to be able to understand this and process this. This is really difficult stuff to wrap your head around. But for some of us, it just makes sense. And for me, once I learned it, I couldn't unlearn it. And I've seen this care be absolutely tremendous and powerful. So if you have issues that aren't clearing up, that aren't responding to traditional medicine and care, more than likely there's an underlying issue at a functional level with the nervous system being the culprit. So if you have an opportunity to get this functional nervous system test done, it's called computerized infrared thermography. If you have access to it local to you, please do yourself and your family and friends a favor and just go get yourself checked. It is the most imperative thing that you could do for your health, wellness, vitality, and longevity. It is a critical element to the well-being quality of our life. And if you think that the quality and well-being of your life is less than peak, just go get yourself checked. More than likely, it is compromised. 90% of individuals have it, and we don't even know it. And it's time to change that trajectory. So I'm Dr. Chris Brown. Thank you for tuning in. Please check out some other videos. We've seen a lot of different cases in this clinic. Thanks for tuning in.